Hey Bulldog fans, Jalyn Johnson with Hill State Productions here with another episode of Walk with the Dogs. Today we are going with head track and field coach Chris Woods. How you doing today?
I'm fine. And
Good. I'm doing good. Now we're doing the entire track. You got your walking shoes on. Okay, and we're ready to go. All right, here we go. Together. All right, so why track?
I was always a really active young kid growing up, always outside, and I realized that track and field and racing and those things are the purest form of sport because you don't need a ball or bat or anything else. You can just race somebody from stop sign to stop sign, and I fell in love with racing. I like winning, and it's changed my life.
When you started running track, did you know that you wanted to coach?
Very early on, yes. Very early on. I think I was about 15 or 16 years old. Someone asked me, as a newspaper guy, asked me, hey, do you want to go to the 2004 Olympics? And at that time, in 2004, I would have been 18 or something like that. And I remember I still have the newspaper article where I was like, man, I'd rather coach.
Watching your first race that you were coaching, what was that like?
Oh man, I was a young coach, full of fire, just running all over the track, just in the infield. I almost got hit by a shot put early in my coaching career, just chasing one of my athletes around the track, just trying to cheer him on. And that's when it hit me, like, man, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing physically I can do to get this student athlete to run any faster than what he or she is running in the moment. And so at that point is when I realized, like, I just have to continue to coach as hard as I can and trust that the student athlete is in great shape, and that we've prepared for whatever moment that we step into.
Starting off, you were interim coach for a little bit. So during that time, was it that thought in you of, I could do this as I want to be head coach? Was that a thought during that time?
Oh, absolutely. You know, when I first came back as an assistant, my initial thought wasn't, okay, one day I'm going to be the head coach. I just wanted to be the best assistant that I could possibly got. To be honest with you, Jalyn, I up until the day that John Cohen called me and presented me the opportunity to be an interim, I hadn't had a lot of thought about being the head coach. We had success on the conference level. We go on the nationals. Coach April Thomas and those guys, they sweep the javelin. We had success there. We finished 11th in the country, whereas, we went into that season, I don't even think we was ranked in the top 25. So to not be ranked in the top 25 and then finish the season 11th, going through that season, it really set in that, like, no, I can do this and we can be successful. And when you're a first-time coach, man, you go through the ups and downs of having confidence and not having quite as much confidence, but it never got too far away from me. I don't think we scratched the surface of what we're capable of doing.
So your phone rings. Yeah. It's John Cohen.
Yeah.
Tell me what that conversation sounded like.
It's a crazy story. I was actually, the day that John called me and said, hey, we're thinking about making you the interim. Would you be interested in doing that? And I was actually out of town. I was on a recruiting trip. Again, man, I was putting everything I could into this program and make it better. Yeah, like I wanted to be, Martin Luther King has a quote, and it may not be his quote directly, but it went something along the lines of, if you're going to be a floor sweeper, be the best floor sweeper you could be. And I live by that, man. So when I was an assistant, I wanted to be the best assistant that I can be. So that day, John called me. I was out of town. I was on a recruiting trip, and my phone was blowing up. And listen, when you're, no matter what you're doing, if your phone's blowing up and you're the assistant coach and you look down and it's the athletic director, you're gonna step out of the room. And so stepped out of the room, talked to John. He presented me with the opportunity. There was a long pause, actually. And he actually had to say, Chris, are you still there? And I'm like, yeah, because I was astonished. And extremely happy and eager. And there was a lot of things going on, but certainly excitement was one of the biggest emotions I felt that day. And we talked a little bit about it, and I finished up my recruiting visit and came on back to Starkville that day, met with the staff, talked about the plan that we wanted to put in place, and I think we did a pretty good job of executing it that year. And the day John called me and said that he wanted to remove the interim tag, it's going to go down as one of the best days of my coaching career, hands down. Like, no matter what happens, you know, that was one of the best days of my coaching career.
And you guys have had a lot of success, like you said, since you've been here. How much of that can you attribute to coaching staff?
Well, it's certainly not me, you know, and I think we have one of the most dynamic coaching staffs throughout the country. We're young, we're energetic, we're extremely diverse, we're extremely knowledgeable. You know, every person on our staff, from myself, April Thomas, Steve Thomas, Coach Carjay, Coach Cher, Coach Pat, even our Director of Operations, Bree Bennett, we all believe that we win here. We all have a championship mentality, and if every person on the staff didn't have that mentality, it wouldn't work.
So you're dealing with here. Then you go home,
yeah.
and you have your 2 kids there, and your Olympian wife, okay?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
his wife's an Olympian.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you do that work-life balance?
You know, it's fun. It's, cool birds. You know, it's fun, you know, to have 2 little boys. They'll be 8 and 3 this year. You know, they're super energetic. I don't know if they're going to be track stars. Whatever talent that they have, I can guarantee you they didn't get it from me. They got it from their mom. Yeah. So it's fun. It's a great balance, because I'm fortunate, because even though my boys are young, they understand track and field. Obviously, my wife, she understands track and field, so they get the nuances of, like, I come home and they say, man, how was practice today? And I can actually explain practice, and they understand it. So that makes the work-home life balance. It's easy to communicate with what we have going on out here, and I can take it home and explain it, and I get feedback, and some, you know, a lot of times it's a lot of helpful feedback. When I talk to parents, when I talk to recruits, I tell them my biggest goal is to do 2 things. One is to make sure you get your degree. That's the biggest thing. That's what you come to school to do. You come to school to get your degree. You have an opportunity, if you're on scholarship, to get your degree at a reduced cost, or sometimes even free. So that's the number 1 goal. And then the number 2 goal is our job as coaches and as mentors and as leaders to make sure that you leave here better athlete and a better person than what you came here. So, you know, under that pretense, right, making sure that you get your degree and making sure that you're a better person and a better athlete when you leave, to me, my biggest job as a head coach, and I think any coach on our staff, I think our biggest job is just to be an extension of the home and be a positive reinforcement during their time here at Mississippi State. When that day comes to where, you know, things are having to slow down and come to an end and I got to walk away, I want to be able to say, I found this program in a pretty decent condition, but when I left it, it was even better. That's what success looks like. Success looks like graduation. Success looks like finding a place and making it better than it was when you got there. And success looks like trophies in a trophy case to me. 400 meters.
This is...
You want me to give you the secret?
Yes.
I got
give me
there's
the
2
secret.
secrets. Okay.
Give me the secret.
If you want to run fast, you just got to run faster. Right? Okay. And then the other thing with track is, it's one, like, just guiding principle. You just run fast and turn left.
Run fast and turn left.
And that's all you got to do.
So I can be on the team now, because that's what I know.
What size shoes you are, we can go get you a pair of spikes right now.
9. Let's get it.
All right. We'll get with Bree and we'll get you some spikes.
I'm not running. It's not there.
I'm sure you'll do fine.
Thank you so much for taking a walk with the dogs with me today.
The pleasure's all mine.
A lot of trophies coming, a lot of personal records being broken, a lot of records being broken.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Coach Woods.
Thank you. Hail State.
Hail State.